Carrie Dyrek. I'm the town manager for the town of Cave Creek. I'm here to welcome you all. I think it's wonderful. What a great turnout. We do have an MC for the event, Steve Lamar. Steve is a resident and has been a resident of Cave Creek since its incorporation in 1986.
Yeah.
He served on the first appointed planning commission of Cave Creek and has been in service to the town throughout the last 35 years since incorporation. Steve has worked tirelessly to help formulate and implement multiple zoning and subdivision ordinances as well as general plans for the community, helping to continue to shape growth in the context of the community's foundation. Steve has served multiple sentences on the town's planning commission throughout the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and he's currently a member of the planning commission. Along with Vincent Francia, who couldn't be here today, Steve was a co-founder of the Open Space Advisory Committee. Steve has also served the community through the town council, serving multiple terms beginning in 2009, including as vice mayor from March 2015 through December of 2016, decided to turn the reins over instead of running for election. So Steve, if you want to take it from here.
Thanks, Carrie. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I see some of these shirts out there, and all three. You know, we did do something wild, and this wasn't the call. It was, let's do something that's unheard of. Let's be selfless. Let's be forward-thinking. And here we stand 20 years later with the evidence that this place is still wild. A lot of us are not quite as wild as we used to be, but the place is. And, you know, for Cave Creek, that's no small task. And it took a lot of people, and it was grassroots, and it took a lot of people that are not with us now, and it took a lot of citizens, it took a lot of hours, it took a lot of t-shirts. We were walking around with t-shirts all over the place, and our representatives heard us and got behind us, and the state and the county joined in, and it took a lot of people to get this done. It was unheard of. But the most amazing thing, I think, is that the town of Cave Creek, the citizens of this community, voted to tax themselves for this place.
Here, here.
And so I don't have words to say to make some kind of analogy, but I found something that did. This is a note from Abigail Adams in the spring of 1775 to her husband, who had just that summer traveled 400 miles on horseback to Philadelphia to represent Massachusetts in the First Continental Congress. And she was there. I mean, things were scarce. The British were landing. She was there, left alone to run the farm and keep things afloat. And she wanted to make sure that John knew she understood the task before him. And she wrote from her kitchen table, "You cannot be, I know, nor do I wish to see you, an inactive spectator. We have too many high-sounding words and too few actions that correspond with them. And I say to you, all of us, this town, everybody that's here, and all the people that aren't here that work so hard for this, this is a time when our high-sounding words corresponded to our actions. And it's what this country needs, and it's what this country's always been." And I'm going to shut up because we want to get the heck out of here before it gets too hot. But it is my honor to be here introducing folks. I first want to get my notes straight. By the way, I want to thank Luke. He reprinted this in nice big type that I didn't used to need. And You know, some folks would get their back up a little bit when they find out that they're the third choice to be MC, because Ian was the first person that came to mind, and he's with us. I know he's with us. Last time I was here with my wife, other than riding horses, was at his memorial. And then Vincent Francia, he was the second choice or the first choice, because you know Vince just worked tirelessly his whole career here as our mayor for open space. And I'm really proud and honored to even be mentioned in that tree, or even thought of. And I want to introduce Ernie Mayer. Ernie Mayer. Ernie Bunt's our current mayor. He's been on the town council since 2005. And Ernie, like Vince and many of his predecessors, understood the balance between growth and preservation. And I'll tell you a personal story. When we were working to get the annexation approved, Vince and I went to Ernie to get his support. There wasn't 1 second's hesitation. And I know some folks think that Ernie just is kind of concerned about cash registers. No, he's concerned about cash registers because if we have a vibrant commercial operation in this town, we have the funds to support places like this and support low density. So I've always been a close friend of Ernie's. We've worked together. I mean, in the big picture, we probably don't agree on much, but we've always agreed on what was good for Cave Creek. And I'm honored to have him speak a few words here on behalf of Cave Creek in this great project.
They gave me a script here, and there's some things that need to be said. One of the things, if you look back behind us here, I'm a life member of the Arizona Desert Bighorn Sheep Society, and am still actively trying to get some sheep put on the mountain because this is historic habitat for them, and we need them back. I would love to be able to see the rams and the lambs and the ewes up here. It would really be special, I think, for the area. Now, they gave me these printed my notes out here, so I'm going to go ahead and read off the script here. Stay on the script because that's what they instructed me to do. And I'm not supposed to take pictures, and it says when I'm supposed to leave here too. Oddly enough, if I were on the town council when this came about, I probably would not have voted in favor of asking for a property tax. But thanks to the efforts of town staff, especially specifically Bambi. Where are you, Bambi? There you are. It's interesting how this came about. She's being diligent in service to the town, and was first made everybody aware of the master plan golf course community that would have been up in here. She's not known for keeping secrets. She quickly alerted other town officials, trail clubs, and just about anybody she ran into at the post office of the plans, and quickly a flake of snow turned into a snowball of efforts, including an annexation and culminating in an election to levy a property tax on ourselves to purchase and protect Spur Ranch. It took partnering with county and state agencies as well as support from local nonprofits and, most importantly, the residents to make this monumental undertaking a reality. The 12 plus miles of marked trails within Spur Ranch Conservation Area is utilized by countless visitors, and if you're a resident, it remains one of the most enjoyable experiences that you can do for free. That's the end of the notes here. It says here not to take questions and to...
That's Ernie. Everybody just telling him what to do. Poor guy. Oh, Lord. You know, I am really happy to introduce our next speaker, is R.J. Carden. And he's the director for the Maricopa County Parks and Recreation Department. And maybe many of you know this, it's the largest regional park system in the United States. Maricopa County's regional park system is made up of 120 acres of pristine snow and desert landscape. The award-winning system is Maricopa County Trail, golf courses, recreation facilities, campgrounds, a marina, nature centers, nature and outdoor recreation programs, and an environmental education center. RJ has more than 35 years of diverse parks and recreation experience, which includes local, county, and state government. He's worked with commercial recreation and the nonprofit sector. Mr. Carden holds a master's degree from Arizona State University focusing on outdoor recreation and tourism. And I want to say personally, I have lived next to the park now on the northeast corner for years. And it's such a wonderful blessing to have thousands of acres of land, this beautiful Sonoran desert, where you can ride or walk over the first hill, and it could be 1775. So I'm happy to welcome RJ Carden.
Thank you. Good morning. It's great to see everyone here today on this special occasion. Ernie, unfortunately, I wrote my own speech, so there are no notes of when I'm supposed to stop. But I knew Ernie, and I think Ken Travis from State Parks is going to talk a little bit more about the acquisition of Spur Cross. So I wanted to focus a little bit on the master plan, because I think the Herculean effort was to acquire this property, but just as important was to find a way to appropriately manage the property once it was acquired. And so in the spring of 2004, the Cave Creek Town Council and the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors formally adopted the Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area. And there are a number of people that were a part of that, and there are mentors of mine here in the audience that I hate to point people out because I know I'm going to forget somebody, but Ken Travis I worked with. He hired me at State Parks many years ago. Maria Beyer was with the governor's office at the time of the acquisition. Don Stapley was an ardent supporter of Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area, as well as Vincent Francia and really so many other folks. But the purpose of the master plan was to protect this unique environmental and cultural resources located in the area and to establish goals for managing this area. One of the very interesting things as I was reading all of this last night was the true collaborative effort it took not only to acquire this property, but then to find a way to manage it that met everyone's need. And so there was a joint planning committee that was formed with the state of Arizona, the county, countless stakeholders that provided expertise into the management of cultural and natural resources. And then as Mayor Bunch said, so many citizens just had a special place in their heart for Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area. Just wanted to read a couple of the goals. There were 9. I won't read all of them from the master plan, but there are a couple here that still ring true and things that we need to continue to do today for the Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area. One is to continue identifying and addressing the threats and issues related to ecosystem biodiversity, ecological inventory and monitoring, special management, vegetation management, pest management, and I would add fire management, and degradation of cultural, natural, and conservation resources of this area. We need to continue to be vigilant in doing that. We need to continue to develop the comprehensive management approach for this property and manage this area for the enjoyment of the people. At the April 2004 Board of Supervisors meeting where they adopted this master plan, the previous week I believe the town council had adopted it. But Vincent Francia stood up and gave just a few words, and I want to read those in closing. The mayor expresses gratitude for the Board of Supervisors, the town council, and all the residents for the 16 years of effort that it took to preserve Spur Cross and to develop the master plan for the future stewardship of the area. In his closing comments, he said he believed this effort would serve as a blueprint to other areas in Arizona and throughout the nation on how various levels of government can work together for the common cause that benefit the many. He concluded by saying, "We have given our children and grandchildren quite a legacy that is always going to be there for them." I couldn't agree more with those sentiments, and I truly believe that we must continue as a team to actively preserve this legacy. Thank you.
Steve, would you pick up the sign?
See it?
I see it. Without my glasses.
I think you're kind of getting an idea of the quality of people who work so hard on this. And I want to, and I'm really honored to introduce Ken Travis. He was the State Parks Director for 23 years, having served in that capacity for 7 governors, beginning with Governor Babbitt and ending with Governor Brewer. During that time, Ken co-authored the Arizona Heritage Fund, and along with Spur Cross, Rock Forward, Karchner's Caverns, the Verde River Parkway, Tonto Bridge State Park, Tours Hollow State Park, and the San Rafael Conservation Area. Retired in 2009, now spends his days seeking playtime with his grandchildren, studying studiously. And I'm with you on this, studiously avoiding politics. Good man who worked with us to do something good.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here. I have to tell you that I had never heard of Spur Cross until I started getting phone calls one day. And they told me some local people were ringing the right bells and pulling the right strings. And I know some of you are here in the audience now, but all of a sudden I was getting phone calls from Maria in the governor's office. I was getting phone calls from the local people here from Mayor Francia and from Senator McCain's office, and I thought, I better do something about this. A lot of people were involved in it. Governor Hull was involved, Gary Birnbaum. P.A. Sykes was the one that brought us to our attention. Patty Motley, Steve Beck. We had Gary Birnbaum. We needed an attorney that could get this done. It was very complicated situation to try to get something like this done because the ownership went back generations. It had all kinds of people involved, and so we needed to get that part solved, and then we needed to figure out how to get 3 levels of government to work together, and how do you come up with an agreement like that. And finally we decided that no good agreement would keep something from happening, and no bad agreement would keep something from happening, and no good agreement would make something happen. It just depended on us getting together. And in the final analysis, not caring who got the credit, you get a whole lot more done when you don't care who gets the credit. And so if I was to give credit, I would give credit to the local people who took this. I'm from the Midwest. Your front yard is where you kept for the neighbors. Your backyard is where you enjoyed yourself. I hope you have generations of people that enjoy your backyard, Spur Cross. Thank you.
So there's just a few more people to thank, kind of summarize, and then we've got coffee and ice water and donuts. I'd like to give a special thanks to George Ross and Sue Mueller, who are here in the audience, along with Paul Dieter. Is he speaking next? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Sue and George, thank you. I'm going to introduce Paul Diefendorfer now. We call him Deef. And where are you?
Right here.
We'll trade you straight up t-shirts, okay?
I got one of those. It's in a box somewhere.
Paul's a town councilman. He's in his second term. I'll tell you, over the years, every time I think of somebody who's going to volunteer some man hours, help the community, take no credit, ask for no money, Paul. And I have some examples in my notes of the stamp mill at the museum, and many, many others. And I have my own personal one. We had, in the term before I was reelected, put up the billboards, the little banners throughout town, starting on a Carefree Highway and through the town. And they were sort of plain. I think that's a kind word. I think I had other words for it at the time. And we didn't have a budget. And I remember talking to Bambi and saying, what can I do? And guess what? Here's Paul Diefendorfer, who's an artist, as you can well see. He said, I'll do that, and I'll do it for free. And he literally went through town and turned what were just kind of plain Jane, almost detriments to the town core into something that was understated, it was durable, and it was beautiful. So I can't thank Paul enough for all he's done over the years, and here he comes again with a monument for this special place. So I give you Paul Diefendorfer to tell you about the monument.
So, just a quick bit of history. When I lived in Phoenix, I was fighting to save Pinnacle Peak Park from a developer named John Lang, and we got that saved. And then I moved to the county out here, and lo and behold, he followed me out here and wanted to do the golf course. So hopefully he's going to not bother me anymore. But I was happy that it got saved. When we started talking about the monument, I'm a blacksmith, so if you look at this, it's made up of 3 layers, and those 3 layers represent the town, the county, and the state that came together to make this happen. And then those layers are held together with rivets, and the rivets represent the individuals who were hounding the town, the county, and the state to get it done. And I've always lived by this motto, one of these mottos, and it's amazing what you can do. If you don't know, you can't do it. And that's what was cool about the people who got together. They didn't know that it couldn't be done, and so they got it done. That's it.
Keep my glasses on, I could read the program. So, continuing, Paul, long before Paul was on the council, he and Sue and George approached the town back in about 2017 and to propose that there would be an installation of a monument dedicated to Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area, and proposed that once that was in place that we could commemorate the preservation of this property. We want to summarize by thanking the Arizona State Land Department, the Arizona State Parks, the Land Commissioner's Office, the State Legislature and Governor Hall, and the countless others who lobbied on behalf of the effort. Thank you to Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, who also supported the land acquisition. There's just so many people that were involved at the state and the county. Also a special thanks to the Desert Foothills Land Trust, who were very involved, and the registered land surveyor, Steve Slider, who prepared the legal description of the annexation area for Spur Cross Ranch. A special thanks to our former steward of Spur Cross Ranch, I don't know if he's here today, the park ranger John Gunn, and also to the continuing day-to-day adventures of Spur Cross Ranch Conservation Area provided by Park Ranger Kevin Smith, who's here. Thank you. Last but not least, we recognize the town council members, the town staff, and the town residents involved with this endeavor. Their hard work